capture the finished work in the catalog, or whether I like the details and the mystery of just highlights and evoking the process rather than another catalog with artist A image, artist B image. I really want to do this more conceptually. And so each of these artists have provided all of these images and then evidence of tracking. So I know when they went to the post office, at what time, and used all of that data. And then they wait. And so for me, this first period is what I call the inhale. And this, I think, is how I'm going to structure the catalog. So we have this big inhale, this excitement, and then we hold at the top of the inhale. And we wait. We've shipped our package. We've got our stipend. We're neck deep in this, super excited. And we go to the post box every day and hope and pray. And that's another unknown. Will any packages get lost? And then, of course, we open the package, and that's the exhale. That's the moment of, oh, I made it, and I got mine, and I know mine was received. And so this is this, human exchange at its core. And then we document that. That's, what we would call in modern parlance the unboxing. And so these are starting to come in, beautiful photographs. And the beauty of this, of course, is that dealing with artists, creators, designers, the documentation I'm receiving is really beautiful as well. It's not an Amazon unboxing, so it's really lovely to play with all of these images. And the good problem I have is, how am I going to do this justice? And I'm not going to be able to use every single image, and so there's a really serious curational endeavor to carry out to make sure that everyone is represented and that the collective story is told, from the inhale, the hold, and the exhale. And then I just want to add, and then I'll stop rambling, I promise. I just want to add that I've chosen artists very much based on, my connection with them, how I thought they would be a good fit, and where they were on the globe. I was conscious that I had many in Europe. I live in California, but I'm half French, half British. And I tried to spread that out. And I did approach artists in other places and I only have one from the global south. And I really wanted someone from Iran. I wrote about that in my weekly update yesterday on X. And that wasn't possible. And not only is that, sad for me, sad for the project, but it also speaks to the moment we're in, the fragility of communications. And of course, post is going to be difficult, but the internet is also difficult, as we know. And so I really want to leave everyone with this idea that and I know this word is a bit trite, but we have the privilege of being able to communicate. Right now, we're all on this call in this space, and I think it's important to communicate now, to exchange letters now. And if it's not a letter, maybe it's a DM. And if it's not a DM, maybe it's a shout out. I love those X posts that say, it doesn't cost anything to support an artist. Write a shout out, retweet, recommend, share, etc. I don't have the sequence, but there are a few of those floating around, and I couldn't agree more. And I think it's so important because we're in this echo chamber, and as artists, for us, promotion is often anathema, and it's so helpful. Like, I never feel better than when I can speak about other artists. And if we can just lean into that while we can, I think our space will be all the better for it.
I wholeheartedly agree, and already getting very excited to talk with you some more. I know that you will be not this Friday, but next Friday's guest for Artsy Friday. So we'll be able to really dive even deeper, and I'm super excited about that because I have so many things I relate to you on. from my artist experience on Tezos, and just want to like second something you said earlier, which is that the joy of getting physical art from a Tezos friend or artist that you admire or both is unbeatable. It is something that you feel and then just want to continue feeling.
Yes, yes, absolutely. It's magical. Nothing short of magic.
Wonderful, I love it. And maybe the last question that I also have is like the part that you can collect an object will be the catalog, or will you do also some kind of surprise puzzles? Like because the whole process sounds so yeah surprising, so heartwarming, so like I don't know, it's so many things that you can, so many details that you can look out for that are wonderful about it. So I wanted to know like what is the plan on object.
Well, that's a really great question. I want to hold that lightly in this moment because I don't want to rule anything out. What I do know is that the art belongs to the recipient. And so if artist A received from artist D or whatever sequence, that the artist A cannot mint the work of artist D, and and nor will I. So the catalog is sort of the heart of the documentation of this work. It's like I say, the residue, and on that I do want to name one person, my dear friend Pixelare, the artist known as Pixelare, who many of us know as Dario, who's an Italian artist in his own right, but also an amazing designer with whom I've worked in the past. Dario is, as I speak, working on the catalog. So hopefully, we will be able to tell a really strong story in that document. I don't want to rule out other, maybe other pieces. Maybe there can be a puzzle of sorts or a collage of sorts or something interesting that doesn't find its way in the catalog or that is so important that we want a standalone piece. So that's, I won't rule that out, but I really want to be clear that for me the art is already happening, the art is underway, and the catalog is a photograph, it's a way of capturing this story. But the art, and that's the beauty of it for me, and this is a little Dada, a little punk rock, very Fluxus. The art is not for sale. It's happening in the post and it's happening on the Tezos blockchain, but we are not flogging JPEGs here. This is really something different, and that's a very dear dear story to my heart. And of course, we're not doing this in a vacuum, so there will be ways of sharing in the catalog, of course, and through writing and storytelling of various sorts. And the more, and as like just thinking out loud, I'm already thinking of different avenues that we might explore. So this is a very useful question, but this is also a little bit different. We're going against the grain. I hope that
I
answers your
love,
question.
yes, I love that, and I love that you take off the pressure of like this is not about selling. It's not like what this space sometimes is too much of, right? Too much focus
Yes.
on the selling part. But yeah, I was thinking more also about like because it's very intimate, the whole project, and it's like the artists they have this like the biggest pleasure of it, and that's how it should be. But it
Yes.
sounds so interesting, and so it was more like being part of it, to be part of this whole process and of the joy. And this will happen through the catalog, of course. But yeah, I was just like in my mind brainstorming how also like you could be part of the art and the whole process on top of it on the blockchain. So yeah, interesting to see if something comes up. If not, also wonderful. It's a great project. It sounds very very intimate and beautiful.
Well, thank you so much. And the question itself is a compliment. So I'm really touched. Thank you, and thank you for asking great questions.
Awesome. It was so great to have you. And if you want to hear more about Ether and her story, then you should join Arts Friday. When, Joshi? Next week on Friday?
Yeah, that will be on the 20th. So
So
not this Friday, but next Friday.
next Friday, is hosted by via Tezos Commons, or you are
Correct.
hosting?
Yeah, Tezos
Yes,
Commons Artsy Friday. And thanks for the shout out.
of course. And go listen to it because I feel it will be a very interesting conversation. And the next selected project from our Tezos Beyond is from Psychofuturist that is already here on stage. So we will hear from him about his project that is imagining a jukebox powered by music NFTs. Is that correct, Psychofuturist, or something changed in the meantime? Let us know what the project is about and how the progress is coming up.
Hey, hello. Can you hear me? And
Yeah, you
Yeah.
sound great.
okay, thank you. Yeah, you all sound great. I think. I hope I can. You can hear me correct in this microphone. But yeah, this is. Thank you so much. First of all, thank you so much to Art of Tezos, and thank you and congrats again to my fellow artists in these projects. Ether, sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, Ether. It's kind of difficult for me. But yeah, I we get to know each other a few months or even years ago when she wrote about my pieces and she won the prize. This writing competition, and that was super cool. And Rainy Fish, I think, is legendary in the space, in the Tezos space. So I was super stoked, striked. I don't know, like super happy to be among them, just doing a project. And I think it's quite an I don't know, it's quite an honor for me. But anyways, yeah, I have this idea. I mean, their projects I think are much more graspable right now because my project is a little bit more. I don't know, difficult to realize, and that doesn't make it like any better or any more anything else than it's just more difficult for me because what I'm trying to do is jukebox, virtual jukebox that is kind of like a radio station and kind of like a mini platform to release music projects. So I guess the most easiest way to describe it is like a version of the vending machine. I think a lot of people in the space would remember the vending machine NFT, where you could, well, they did releases of NFTs, but it was randomized. So you enter this platform, this little page, and you could buy one or a pack of many random NFTs from a stack of different, from a set of NFTs, and you would get a random NFT like in a vending machine or in a gacha, the Japanese machines where you buy a toy, but you get a random toy from a set. You don't know exactly which toy you would get. So it was this mechanic, but I'm trying to do kind of a similar mechanic, but it's just for music NFTs, and the idea is that it's like a jukebox, like these machines that play music that you found in bars, or in restaurants or clubs or whatever, and you pay, I don't know, $1, and you get to choose a song to play for the whole crowd. So that was the idea, to translate that experience into the NFT space, and instead of just playing the song, you get the song as an NFT piece. And the idea was to yeah, to release that along with a radio station of sorts, because in I mean in the internet is not possible to have that idea of playing a song for the crowd in the same way that you have in a physical space. So the idea was to make that feeling with to convey that feeling with a radio station that would be streamed mainly, I think, in YouTube and Twitch. Um, that it's gonna be like one of these radio stations of lo-fi music or something like that, but it's gonna be not just lo-fi, but any type of music that has a counterpart in the Tezos blockchain. So that's the main idea, to release music drops, trying to keep in mind the Tezos distribution. No, well, not trying, keeping in mind Tezos distribution, and yeah, like independent self releasing of music through Tezos, which I mean I've always been interested in, because yeah, I'm a musician myself. I'm not a full-time musician, obviously, but I've dabbled into it. I make music every day for fun, and I like the idea of having a channel where I can release it as independently and as freely as I want. And also, I like a lot the idea of, I think, for because of the nature of the NFT platforms, where most things are visual stuff. Um, Most things tend to have a very strong visual component. So I love that, because I'm mostly a visual artist, and when I think of music, I also think of the visual component very strongly. And I know a lot of friends here that make music, and they think the same about music. They think of music in the same way, because we came. It's the same thing. Like, we are primarily visual artists, but we have this side music interest. Sometimes it's not just an interest, but a gig, or even like a full time thing. And art is secondary for some people that I know, but they put so much effort into both things. And yeah, that's the way I like to think of this. And for example, in Tezos, for me, one of my dream things, and it might seem very minor for a lot of people, but one of my dream things is being able to release music and have a GIF as a cover art. That was huge for me. Just the idea of having a animated cover art, that it's a GIF that has all the qualities and characteristics of a GIF, to me is super magical. So yeah, that kind of stuff is one thing I want to focus with this project. Like, it has a main visual component, and it's not limited to a video, as
Hey
like in a
everyone, this
music
is
video that you can
Brian
upload to
from
YouTube. It can
teia.cafe.
be a GIF.
We
It can be a, HTML, generative stuff, something like that. So that's yeah, that's the project mainly. And I'm working with Joe Simon. He's an amazing programmer from Germany, and he's been doing a lot of projects in the space too. So I think uh, a lot of people would know him in the side of programming Tezos. And the project is very early. I'm very sorry, because I know some projects are already dropping.
I wanna pause you there because you have nothing to apologize for, and it might be meant to be that you're still early. Because first of all, just a little quick, really quick backstory is that this is your project is essentially, and everything you said about it is what got me into crypto initially back in 2017. I had to take a break from being a full time gigging musician for the past decade because it was burning me out and I wanted to find other things in life to kind of balance. So since that time, I've watched and experienced Hen Radio's era. I was one of the first songs on there, and it was like this huge moment for me and my like eye-opening excitement for Web3. So, I first of all just this is something that I'm very excited about, personally attached to on a deeper level. We've seen implementations close to what you are saying, but what I'm loving hearing is the amalgamation, this kind of bring all of these different ideas into one useful interface that showcases both the streaming ability on other platforms. Like you said, if you can get some Tezos music presence on like Twitch and streaming, that's epic. That's something I write about, like how much we should start try to push more into Web2, the good stuff, the art itself. But on top of that, point being of you being early, there are a lot of people even in this room that are on the same wavelength as you, that you could reach out to and potentially expedite the process. Frankly, you've got Ryan Tanaka down there with Tia, who is basically trying to extend the legacy of Hen Radio in a new form. So there's some back end work there that y'all could discuss. And then on top of that, you even mentioned earlier vending NFTs. That's Flexosaurus, and he's actually created a Tez FM concept recently. So this is something that you're on a wavelength that a lot of the
What,
musicians in
me?
the space
What
have
did I do?
absolutely been saying is needed, and there have been implementations that have kind of been almost right. So if we can have everybody like unify over the fact that we all want it, I could see some really epic things happening. And so I just wanted to kind of catch up to that point. And I'm in the channel with you. So if you need any help connecting with others in the space doing that, I'm very excited to help with that.
Hey, thanks so much. That's amazing. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I think it's obviously it's not like the only project, and it's part of like the I don't know how to call it, like this mini zeitgeist of ideas around music and NFT distribution and Tesla specifically. And I'm super happy to be part of it. Yeah, it would be cool if we could talk later about it and yeah, exchange projects and ideas, and if we can see connections between them. Yeah, I'm super open to work with that. I think I think what I'm trying to do is I don't know if probably it's you know the term death by a thousand cuts, but I don't know what's the opposite of that. But a little bit of like programming, a little bit of like the curation part of it. It's very important, of course. A little bit of the concept part of it, and a little bit of like I think my approach to a lot of stuff in the NFT space has been just keep it very simple. Very what's the thing that can be expressed more easily for the audience, not just NFT audience, but general audience. Like, how can I reach people and not making it so? Because I think for a lot of people, NFTs can be very daunting technically, or the space could seem literally cryptic. So for me, this project tries to aims at that idea of okay, this is just music, in not in a bad sense, not in a bad sense that it's just one thing. Could be a lot of things, but it's mainly music. You can just listen to it. You can stream it. We are not close to the idea of like uploading to digital platforms or yeah, Web 2 there's like these radio stations, so you can just listen to it, like no effort needed any part. But there's also this NFT component if you want to go deep and collect the music and support the artist. I for me, I want to make this bridge, this literal web of connections, super graspable. So that's my idea. Like you enter the web page, even if you don't know anything, you can just listen to the music, and then you can deep dive and listen to a radio station, and then even deeper and get to know the artists on the socials and collect their music. And it's like that's I think for me, and also introducing this randomized mechanic is part of the fun because even if you don't know much about you see, oh, I want to support this thing, this project, these people, you can just put some pesos and get a piece back. And it's one of these things where it's super, that's what I mean, like by death by a thousand cuts in reverse, like it's very fun just to, it's very small gesture to buy something and get something in return randomized, but it really adds to the fun. Like I lived in Japan for like a couple of years. I lived in Japan for a few months, and it's these machines, these machines where you just put a coin and get a toy. They're very fun just because of the dynamic. Sometimes you don't even mind the toy, or you don't even, you're not even interested. And most of the times you get the shit toy because they want you to buy more and more. But this is this pursuit of the toy and just thinking of the randomization aspect. And yeah, just the excitement of getting something and see what it is very fun for me. And I wanted to translate that
I think it's a
into
wonderful
this.
idea
And
for music.
yeah, yeah.
I think the discovery of music behind that randomization is something that we absolutely could benefit from experiencing. And
Exactly, exactly.
if any of you are around for the vending machine, you know how that is. It's like there's no losing. Like it's not like a gotcha when you're getting the quote unquote crappy thing most of the time. You're getting art no matter what. You know, it's pretty fantastic. And I see your vision of giving it a front end that is not intimidating and something any person can grasp.
Yeah, for sure. That's the main part of it. And yeah, like right now I mean maybe this is kind of boring, but just the technical aspect of it is has been a little bit difficult for me. 'Cause I know some things about programming. I can vibe code stuff, but I'm working with this Joe Simon. He's an amazing programmer. I just tweeted about him, and yeah, he's taking care of the Tezos part that has to be solid. You cannot vibe code a Tezos contract or a Tezos thing, and so that part has to be solid, and also like the streaming and all. I'm still working on it. It's gonna be like streaming from a Raspberry Pi, and I mean I'm listening Ether talk about it, about her project, which is mainly physical, or has like this super strong physical component. And it's that's very important right now for me too. Like I think when you get physical things, I mean this project is going to be mostly digital, but it has physical things. Like it's going to be like a Raspberry Pi streaming the radio station. And I think those things, even if you don't see the physical, like literally there, you feel that there's like some infrastructure behind, I think. And that's very important for me too, like having infrastructure supporting the thing. And that's very important for me. Like I've been releasing physical pieces recently, just released my first physical piece. So I think also there's like this yeah, I'm just saying this because of the trying to identify, and I'm feeling very happy to be in this mini zeitgeist of things, of trying to go more physical, of trying to go with different media inside Tezos, not just like pure images, but physical things, but music, the physicality of music, having some kind of infrastructure behind the whole thing. So yeah, I think it's, again, it's what I'm saying. I think my idea is not just, oh, this is uh, this unique and amazing concept, but it's just like, okay, I have a lot of ideas and interests and ways of execution to make a project, and I want to uh, get them all together in this form factor. And yeah, I hope it can it gives something back to the community. And yeah, I don't know if you have any other question you can tell me.
You got any other questions, Unknown?
No, it sounds very interesting. I left it to you because I knew that was your. When I when I heard about the project, I was like, "This is Yoshi's thing
For
with
sure.
music and your expertise." So it was
I
very interesting to hear you to talk about it.
absolutely, and I did jump right in and take over, so that's why I just wanted to make sure you didn't have any other questions.
No, it was great to hear about it, and we're excited to see how it goes, how the project progresses, and yeah, how like the finished platform will be. But I'm sure it will be great. And check out Psychofuturist's art. He just finished like his little device to capture God. So he always comes up with very interesting projects with great art, and it's completely out of the norm. So definitely worth following. So make sure to follow Psychofuturist, and I'm excited to see where this project also leads to and how it will look at the end. It was great hearing from you.
Agree. And when it comes to this most recent piece, the physical camera that you made, I gotta say that I feel like that gives us a hint of some of the physical implementations that you have in mind for the music project too, and how to make that tie in a way that I bet Ether really loves as well.
Thank you. No, thank you so much. Thank you, Unknown. Thank you, Yoshi. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Like, I really appreciate the support of Art and Tesos and the energy. I know you care about the art, so I think that's the most important thing. I'd love to have this uh, spaces to talk about like the more, I don't know how to call it, like the religious aspect of it. I think that's the fun part about making art, just like, like these 13th century church conversations about like if angels had sex, or if like what's in the afterlife or whatever. Like it seems banal, but I think that's the fun part of making art, just like to focus on this very niche things that no one else cares in the world, but for us it's the most important thing. And I think that's very fun. And I love that we all care about these things and about art and Tezos and music and physicality and all these things. And yeah, so yeah, I think that's all on my part. And thanks so much.
Absolutely.
Congrats.
And we'll be in touch about all of the things that I mentioned, as well as if you would like to have a spot for Artsy Friday in April, we can continue the conversation then as well.
Cool, thanks.
Sounds amazing. That would be exactly the space that you were that you wanted to talk about angels having sex. So it sounds like a good space. Thanks so much, like futurist. Very interesting. And the last but not least, selected project that we will talk about today from Art on Tezos Beyond is with Rini Fish. We all know her art. She's very like known for her world of bugs that are just like awesome. So it's good to have you here, and we would love to know from you, Rini Fish, how does this Art on Tezos Beyond project maybe helps to evolve your already very extended world of bugs?
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, very good.
Great. Hi, I'm Rainy Fish. First, I just want to say thanks so much for supporting my project, and it's so great to hear from everyone. So my project is called Jizo in many places. The idea actually comes from something I'm been thinking about for a long time. Uh, I think I'm building a temple right now. Um, but I don't want to just build something like a, static gallery. I want it more like a living environment. So, so the name Jizo comes from the Buddhist figure Jizo Bodhisattva, which is known as the guardian that guides wandering souls between worlds. Uh, I just really like that metaphor because NFT kind of like moving between different digital spaces, and I think collectors' artwork they just slowly form their eco own ecosystem, and my practice often draws from Buddhist, Taoist, and different ritual traditions. Um, not really as belief systems, but more as ways of thinking about how things to relate to each other. So in this project, when collectors mint, they could enter the environment and try to find the jizo they own. Um, and if even if you don't have one, you can still explore the space and just enjoy the world of jizo. After the first collection launches, I'm also thinking of putting more collections, gradually appearing inside the same world, kind of like expanding outward like a mandala. So in the end, the word itself becomes a kind of involving artwork. Uh, yeah, sorry, so I don't know if I explained it well. That's where the project is right now.
Yeah, wonderful. Really appreciate. Yeah, so just to make it clear again, then there will be like a web page that
Yes.
will integrate all the figures of that Jizo world, and you can mint parts of it, and then, but it's not like necessary to mint. You can also explore the world. Like, does the world expand with mints, or like how does the two relate to each other?
I want to job on job.art because I feel blind means fits this project, and I really like the surprise, like the when every different kind of jizo popping out. Yeah, that's how it means.
So when somebody on drop.art goes to mint and then reveal a new Jizo, is there going to be like a metaverse, like video game style virtual world that somebody else could be in and all of a sudden see that new Jizo pop up? Is that what you're essentially saying?
Yeah, kind of like that, but it's not a video game. But I really want to make a video game though. Maybe in next step.
Sounds like the
I
natural evolution.
I'll put a link in the page of the job.art, I think, and then when everybody can just click in and just explore the world.
Yeah, that sounds perfect. And it definitely brings my mind to like, and then can we play with them?
Uh, I actually want them to talk to each other. That's my goal.
Oh, I'm having so many fun ideas I'm going to chat with you later about.
Well,
That's
now still kind of I think there's still a little bit challenging like visual effects, and also I want it so much like I also want to put the music video, but obviously I think I there is also a copyright issue, so we're still testing a lot of some small details like that.
Can you maybe explain it a little bit again, like the web page in itself, like the Jizzle world, like how was like how will it look, how can you interact with it, and yeah, to make it a little bit more tangible for us, your idea about how it will look.
Sorry, it's a little bit choppy right now. I can't really hear the question.
What will
Can you say
be
it
a
again?
what will the world look like aesthetically?
Uh, I just pinned my post here. Here's actually the concept art of the word. Can you see it?
Can you still hear me? I'm not sure, like
Oh,
it's just here Rainfish that you said that I'm shoppy.
oh, sorry. I said the pin post here. Can you see that?
Yeah,
That's
sorry, I
actually.
was muted. I was saying that I love that it feels like painted and then animated.
Oh, thank you.
So when you go to the website, this is going to be the general like world aesthetic, be very magical, whimsical.
Hello?
Can you hear me? I think we might be rugging unknown. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Yes,
you well. I
yes,
can
I
also hear
can hear
really
you.
fish. That's
Yes, I can hear
Can you
you.
hear us now again, really fish?
Yes,
Okay.
I can hear you.
Maybe you can repeat your question, Joshi.
I was just looking at the piece and wondering if like as you're showing us when you go to the website,
Yeah.
it kind of has that. First of all, it matches drop.art's vibe. I think that's great. It has a natural fit to it. And then on top of that, will the aesthetic of the world be like what you're showing us here?
I think it's a animated word. Sorry if I'm not sure if I understand it well.
I think what we want to know is like how like when you enter the page, the Jizo project, like the web page,
Mm-hmm.
like what will the individual person that visits it, what will they experience?
Oh, so yeah, all the Tezos, I think there'll be in the first collection. I want to put 100 different Tezos in the in the first launch, and they will all look they're all animated and with all those kind of bugs and different how to say that decorations in their belly or their different faces or different uh how to say that different hats. Yeah, um kind of like that.
Wonderful. I mean, the one that you shared looks already cool. It fits very well into your bug world. Like, how would you say do they relate to each other? Like your usual world of bugs and these new Jizos.
Yes, yeah, I just want people can enjoy this world, and I always want to build a rainy fish immersive space, and I think this time is actually a very good opportunity for me to create a digital space first, and yeah, that's what I want right now.
So we're very excited to see how it will play out, like how all the different Jizos will look together and what we will get in the drop that are blind mint. Is always a fun experience. And so you said there will be 100 different Jizos that you will make for the first round.
Yes, in the first collection.
That's amazing. That's
I
amazing. That's a lot.
just pulled up your website and it gave me a pretty good idea actually. As far as I could definitely see myself walking into a little interactive world of these characters. And if you go to the website readyfish.com, people listening, you can kind of get an idea of maybe what some of the traits might end up being like. And as we just heard with this example here, it'll be like really cute bug hat traits and surroundings and backgrounds and things in the belly. I'm starting to see it. It's going to be a very cute interactive collection. People listen.
Still testing a lot of. Thank you for. I just want to say again, thanks for selecting my project and support it. How to say that decorations in their
That's always
belly
good to see
or their
your
different
world
faces
expanding
or
with your art,
different
and I think we all agree
how to
that
say that
we love
different
for artists to experiment, but we also love like to see these little walls that every artist creates for themselves that nobody else could create, and just like expanding this world with new ideas and new characters and new details is always something very interesting to see. And it's something that is like magical about artists, right? That you always see their world expand in different ways, not always just visually, but also like conceptually. Sometimes if the visual part is not the most important, but for you, I feel like the visual part, you are very like concentrated on how your world looks and how it
Hat?
expands. So it's great to
Magical
see
about
that world
artists, right? That
go in
you
that
always see the
direction.
world expand in different ways, not always just
Thanks.
Visually, but also like
I'll keep it
conceptually.
up
Sometimes
and
if the
make
visual
sure
part is not
finish
the most
it
important,
before
but
the
for
deadline.
you, I feel like the visual part, you are very excited for that. And also, if somebody's in the stage who wants to ask a question
Hat?
to Rini Fish, to Ether, or to Psychofuturist, of course, come up and talk with us. And nobody bites here. But yeah,
Maybe some of Rainy Fish's bugs might nibble.
They might be.
I don't think any of them look poisonous or like they sting or anything though, so he should be fine. But yes, if anybody has any questions for Rainy Fish, Psychofuturist, or Aether, now would be a good time to request to come up, and we'd love to hear from you. And
and yeah,
also,
besides that, yeah, tell us, Joshi.
I was going to say between artists, if y'all have any questions for each other, that sometimes gets some good convos going too.
Absolutely, also. But if not, we also had like a great insight into these three different projects out of the eight, I think, that were selected. And it was very interesting to hear about like where the projects are, and it's also cool to see like that there are different stages, right? Like the one from Aether is already running, and we're getting updates, and Psychofuturist now found the dev and is getting things started. Rini Fish is already creating the different GSOs, so they're all very different stages, and that makes it very interesting to hear all your stories about the projects. So thanks for sharing that. And if nobody has a question, then I think we can wrap up the space. And it was very great that you were here talking about your projects, to have you, Joshi, like always, giving so much interest, asking so much interesting questions, and having great insights about your personal thoughts about the projects. Always also good to hear from you. And yeah, I'm not sure if you want to say something yeah, more like your impressions about the projects or anything that you want to add, Yoshi,
I
or
think
the
this is a
artists.
really good starting point as far as, like you said, this space is the three of eight total projects that are part of this initiative, and just really, really good, strong starting point, getting an idea of what the artists are building. Really diverse. I think that's one of the things that's really the most intriguing is that we have so many different creative needs in the space that are potentially about to get filled, and especially either with the physical, digital, analog combination. That's something that I personally feel is so important right now. So absolutely, like everybody in the room, ride that energy. Show the physical examples of what's special about this out there, and just wanted to kind of give that a little bit of a magnified uh, cry and a call of action.
Yeah, very well said, Yoshi, and great last words to say for today. And we're very interested in seeing how the projects develop, and you will of course see more content on Art on Tezos around those projects in the coming weeks as they develop, as they play out. And also, we will for sure hear about the projects again after they have launched on a space from those three selected projects. And in the next weeks, hopefully, we can get the other other creators, artists, builders talk about their projects also. So interesting things to come, interesting conversations to be held. We are all very happy that, yeah, there is this space for these projects to develop, and that we have you here. And in tough times, yeah, but like we see Aaron Tezos, it's always just like they keep going, people keep going, because it's mainly about the art and about community and about being together, and not giving up on your principles and your ideas, and just keep developing great ideas and creating great art. And I feel that's what we also heard about today. So yeah, it was great, and I'm excited to see your projects develop and hear from you again in some weeks when things are looking very different from now, probably.
We can almost be sure that things will be different a few weeks from now than they are now. It's something very, very reliable about this space. And just want to say thank you guys for being here, every single one of you. It makes it possible for y'all to tune in. So thank you for being here, Muriel. Mental Noise, Stroke Driven, always appreciate it. Tezos Artists Network. We got Macbeth here, DeSolter in the building, Tati, Ni, Ryan G. Tanaka, Idja Sound. We have Dots, I think Anax Melina, and Nicholas, Northern, and Adi. Appreciate every single one of you.
Yeah, well said. It's great to see people being interested in great and interesting projects. That's also like a very yeah important part of it all. So thanks for being here. Thanks to the speakers and
Oh, that was sudden.
Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me well.
That's a
Um,
crispy mic. You sound great. How you doing today, Unknown?
that's good, man. Hey, Yoshi. Joshi? How should say it
You said
correctly?
that perfectly. Yes, Yoshi.
Yes, I got it right. That's always good. I always like have all those names in my mind, and I never know if it's correct. So it's good to hear.
Hey, it is good work. Pretty long intro.
Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me well.
That's a crispy.
Let's check it before we do any more.
Hello, everyone.
That works.
Mike, you sound great. How you doing today? I know.
That's good, man. Hey, Yoshi. Joshi? How should say it
You said
correctly?
that perfectly. Yes, Yoshi.
Yes. I got it right. That's always good. I always like have all those names in my mind and I never know if it's correct. So it's good to hear. Yeah. Hey everyone, welcome. Great to have you here. Today we're talking with three of the selected projects for the Art on Tezos Beyond program. It's an initiative supporting new ideas, experiments, and formats being built across the Tezos art ecosystem. I also pinned the article about it in the winner's announcement to the space. You can look it up if you're not familiar with it. And today we're joined by Ether Sovereign, by Rini Fish, and Psychofuturist, who are each developing very different projects, from a global mail art relay to an evolving digital world to a new format for music releases on chain. So we will hear little bit more about their projects and the progress they're making inside this Art on Tezos Beyond program. And we're also joined by me and Joshi as the co-hosts. So yeah, Joshi, how are you today? How's everything?
Fantastic. I'm just super excited to get to know the artist a little bit better that we have on this project. It's some amazing initiatives, and it's always good to get the spaces going and just be able to have that voice one on one with everybody.
Let's do 4.
Absolutely, that's completely true. And the projects are developing very interestingly. And I think we just like go one after another, let them talk a little bit about their projects. And I think we start with Ether because she is the one that already launched her projects. The first mails are sent out, so maybe you can just tell us a little bit more about your project and yeah, which progress you're making with it. Ether, nice to have you. Should we call you Ether or would you prefer another name?
No, Ether is great. Ether is actually my name, so thank you for asking. Okay, so I am Ether. That's actually my real name, and I'm she, her. And I'm really delighted to have this conversation with you all today. And first, I just want to give a shout out to my friends. I know Rennie Fish from a residency we did a couple of years ago with Vertical Crypto. And I know Psychofuturist because I answered an open call. It was a writing competition, and I was talking about Psychofuturist's work, and we won. So we became fast friends on that occasion as well. And it's lovely to make new friends and to feel like I've put in the time. I've been here long enough that I actually know people, and that's a really good feeling. So this does feel like home. Tezos in particular feels like home to me. So I'm really honored to have this project supported by Art on Tezos, and I'm happy to tell you a little bit about it. I'll try not to ramble. My project is basically a mail art project. It involves a dozen artists who are creating mostly analog work because it's shipped in the mail. And I chose deliberately analog leaning artists,
That's kind
but a
of
lot of
weird.
them have a very high, most of them actually have a hybrid practice. And it's been
Mine
really
has
interesting
a very
to see
different
sort of the conversation between the analog
image.
and the digital in this project and how each facet really reflects the other. Like you can't really create analog work without referencing technology, if only print is always referencing the Gutenberg press. And of course, you can't create anything digital ex nihilo. It's always an expression of the analog. So we have this conversation that's constantly ongoing throughout. I would say this is also true of the medium we're using because we're using Tezos as a medium in this instance. We're registering the different steps of the dispatches, for instance, on the ledger level L1. And then we are creating a catalog of everyone's artworks, and that will be minted on object, so on a L2. And that as well is the same sort of conversation, meaning that there is a network, a physical network. I have an Excel spreadsheet with addresses, and that feels very good, by the way, because I feel that we're in a very fragile moment, and there's something really precious about having a physical network. And at the same time, because this is a blockchain project ultimately, it is reflected in the blockchain. And I think I've been saying, and I've heard others say for a long time now, that the true gift of Web3 is for us to find the other, to find our friends, our tribe. And so there's something also that has been facilitated through blockchain as a social tissue in a way, especially when it's used artistically, where all of a sudden we're able to come together in a marketplace and say, I see you and I recognize your art and you're my friend now. And so there's also that conversation. I'm just going to take a breath and see if this is hitting home or whether I'm just rambling.
It really is wonderful and fascinating. And if anybody isn't already following the threads, Aether is doing some very thoughtful threads throughout the project's development. And my first question that just came to me naturally is I'm intrigued by your use of the word analog, because usually we just jump straight to the word physical. And I noticed you used that word as well. So it seems intentional. If you would like to kind of express the differentiation there.
Oh,
Sure, thank you. So physical obviously just speaks for itself. I think we all have, it all evokes for us the physicality of working on a piece. But in using the word analog, I'm also referencing tools. And it's been really interesting how folks in this project have incorporated elements that I would call specifically analog. For example, someone included a floppy disk in her work. Another artist, and I'm not going to name all of the artists because that would take too long, and there is a catalog that's being built for that specific purpose. And also, they are all referenced in my different threads and updates, and there will also be an individual focus on each artist coming up. So I'm not at all brushing aside. It's just that it would be too lengthy to sort of drill down and make sure that everyone gets the same praise they deserve. And another analog, well, not so much tool, but expression, is the cassette tape. There have been a couple of cassette tapes. And so there's this whole reflection on what, like, how did we capture our work before this moment? There's also someone who created an e-paper device. So we have these different, almost archaic expressions, and that in and of itself is a reflection on how do we capture our work? How do we capture our voices? Because we have this illusion, and I think everyone is quite clear on the fiction, I call it, of immutability. You know, we've all been waxing lyrical about the eternal blockchain, but we also know that if the grid is taken down, that's not going to really do us any good. And we also know that we can only use and see and take advantage of and appreciate the fruit of a technology if we have the tools to read it, to use it. I wrote a Substack article about the latency ledger, and I was saying that I have this VHS tape that I can't read because I don't have the reader. Now I could buy one, but you know, maybe my children's children won't be able to find that device to read the VHS tape. And on the other hand, we have Egyptian papyri, for instance, and those are both fragile, but they've lasted millennia. We have Sumerian clay tablets. So I think analog for me is the clay tablet versus the scribe who had a little tool and who was doing the markings on the damp clay. And so I wanted to include all of that because for me, this project is also a reflection on tools, on technology in the deepest sense. Does that answer
Sounds
your
very
question?
interesting.
Thank you.
Did that answer your
Fantastic
question,
answer.
Josie?
Yeah, absolutely. It's the layers beyond the word physical that are actually related to the project, and I think it's really interesting that you're doing things like that. People are sending cassette tapes, and I think initially the first thought would be like postcards and paintings and drawings. So I think that's really good to differentiate and point out.
Yeah, thank you. And if I sort of pursue the metaphor, I would say that what I'm expressing here, and it's interesting because one of the other things I thought about upstream is that however I envision this, and of course, there's a method to the madness. Ultimately, I was very confident, and this is already expressing itself, that what we are weaving together would be more than the sum of its parts. There's naturally, when you bring humans together, especially creative folks, especially artists, there's this gestalt that happens. And so the residue, the outcome is more than the sum of its parts. And in a way, what I have devised here in calling myself for this specific exercise, the postmaster, I'm a bit like a conductor. And I've created, out of the ether, if you'll allow me the pun, a sort of algorithm, a human algorithm, and this is a score. And then I'm inviting people to play this music. And of course, the music becomes their own. They riff on it and they express it in very unique, idiosyncratic ways. And together, and this is no accident, we discover all of these resonances, and we discover our own humanity and how we are, more similar than different, even though I'm working with people on 5 continents, and one of them had never shipped something overseas. Another person had never been to the post office. And then others have shipped art internationally for eons, So you have all of these differences, and these will also be captured in the catalog. But you have ultimately this common, this choral, this voice. And it's interesting because someone also created a choir in her work, an expression of a choir. And I thought that was just hitting the nail on its head. But I know also that it was, I'm confident that it was entirely subconscious. And it doesn't really matter, because I think that's when art, or where art lives, it is in that collective unconscious. And so this has just been a delight for me. I feel just so honored to have been, around long enough to have identified the artists that I thought might want to contribute to this project. And not only did they want to contribute, but they've all outdone themselves. And then I've had countless DMs of people saying, "Hey, why didn't you call me? And I'd love to take part. And are you doing, chapter 2? And please keep me in mind, et cetera, et cetera." And that also, I mean, it's a little bit heartbreaking, but it's also beautiful because it speaks to the longing we all have for connection. That is, it's wonderful when someone acquires your art on blockchain, but it's a very different thing when you receive a parcel or a letter. It doesn't really matter how big it is, from halfway around the world. And the way I designed it is that no one knows who's sending to them. And then all of a sudden, you get this little treasure that was made for you halfway around the world, and created and thought up with love and packaged delicately. And it's just, it's pure magic. So this is probably my most interesting, not the biggest, but my most interesting project so far. So I'm very, very, I keep on saying this, but I'm grinning as I say this. You can probably hear it. I'm just delighted. And yeah, that's sort of the essence of it.
Sounds so wonderful, to be honest. And maybe you can break down a little bit like the actual process, like yeah, how does it work? Like maybe you can break down everything a little bit more for the audience. So like like
Sure.
people have they any restrictions? I imagine not. And then they send out the mail, and what happens after? So we go through it a little bit.
Okay. So first of all, there were a series, I think maybe only I thought it would be one, but it ended up being 3 briefs, just sort of outlining all of the different steps. It's straightforward, but I feel like this kind of friction has become very like there's a lot of resistance to it, not specifically with this group, but just in general, especially people who've been minting art. And a lot of the people, not all, but in fairness, a lot of the people who are also shipping physical art often have someone do that for them. So this idea of all of a sudden you're shipping to a place you've never shipped to before, and you're not exactly sure how that works. There is a stipend to contribute to postage, but this was perhaps the first area where some artists really hit a wall, because not having done it before, some people started creating, rather generous packages. And when they went to the post office, it was hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and that was not an option. So some folks went home and unwrapped their package, felt the sadness, and we revisited. But we're also documenting all of that. So every step of the way, this gets registered on blockchain. And so I have this whole record of what package is going where at what time, etc. And that's sort of that's the conductor, if you will. But then at the level of each member of the orchestra, there was a time to put together one's work. They received, and of course I gathered all of everyone's details. They received an address, which was their target address where they were going to send their package, without ever disclosing this to anyone, just for the surprise effect. Ultimately, it wouldn't really matter. And then I decided early on that we weren't going to do an actual relay, meaning it doesn't go from A to B and B sends back to A or to C, because just given the time and also funds, it wouldn't have been possible. So people just receive one, and they document their work before sending. So I have behind the scenes photographs, details, and then the finished work. And this is an interesting question, because I've been thinking about whether I really want to capture the finished work in the catalog, or whether I like the details and the mystery of just highlights and evoking the process, rather than another catalog with artist A image, artist B image. I really want to do this more conceptually. And so each of these artists have provided all of these images, and then evidence of tracking. So I know when they went to the post office, at what time, and used all of that data. And then they wait. And so for me, this first period is what I call the inhale. And this, I think, is how I'm going to structure the catalog. So we have this big inhale, this excitement, and then we hold at the top of the inhale. And we wait. We've shipped our package. We've got our stipend. We're neck deep in this, super excited. And we go to the post box every day and hope and pray. And that's another unknown. Will any packages get lost? And then, of course, we open the package, and that's the exhale. That's the moment of, I made it, and I got mine, and I know mine was received. And so this is this, human exchange at its core. And then we document that. That's, what we would call in modern parlance the unboxing. And so these are starting to come in, beautiful photographs. And the beauty of this, of course, is that, dealing with artists, creators, designers, the documentation I'm receiving is really beautiful as well. It's not an Amazon unboxing. So it's really lovely to play with all of these images. And the good problem I have is, how am I going to do this justice? And I'm not going to be able to use every single image. And so there's a really serious curational endeavor to carry out, to make sure that everyone is represented, and that the collective story is told, from the inhale, the hold, and the exhale. And then I just want to add, and then I'll stop rambling, I promise. I just want to add that I've chosen artists very much based on, my connection with them, how I thought they would be a good fit, and where they were on the globe. I was conscious that I had many in Europe. I live in California, but I'm half French, half British. And I tried to spread that out. And I did approach artists in other places and I only have one from the global south. And I really wanted someone from Iran. I wrote about that in my weekly update yesterday on X. And that wasn't possible. And not only is that, sad for me, sad for the project, but it also speaks to the moment we're in, the fragility of communications. And of course, post is going to be difficult, but the internet is also difficult, as we know. And so I really want to leave everyone with this idea that and I know this word is a bit trite, but we have the privilege of being able to communicate. Right now, we're all on this call in this space, and I think it's important to communicate now, to exchange letters now. And if it's not a letter, maybe it's a DM. And if it's not a DM, maybe it's a shout out. I love those X posts that say, it doesn't cost anything to support an artist. Write a shout out, retweet, recommend, share, etc. I don't have the sequence, but there are a few of those floating around, and I couldn't agree more. And I think it's so important because we're in this echo chamber, and as artists, for us, promotion is often anathema, and it's so helpful. Like, I never feel better than when I can speak about other artists. And if we can just lean into that while we can, I think our space will be all the better for it.
I wholeheartedly agree, and already getting very excited to talk with you some more. I know that you will be not this Friday, but next Friday's guest for Artsy Friday. So we'll be able to really dive even deeper, and I'm super excited about that because I have so many things I relate to you on from my artist experience on Tezos, and just want to second something you said earlier, which is that the joy of getting physical art from a Tezos friend or artist that you admire or both is unbeatable. It is something that you feel and then just want to continue feeling.
Yes, absolutely. It's magical. Nothing short of magic.
Wonderful, I love it. And maybe the last question that I also have is the part that you can collect an object will be the catalog, or will you do also some kind of surprise puzzles? Because the whole process sounds so surprising, so heartwarming, so I don't know, it's so many things that you can, so many details that you can look out for that are wonderful about it. So I wanted to know what is the plan on object?
Well, that's a really great question. I want to hold that lightly in this moment because I don't want to rule anything out. What I do know is that the art belongs to the recipient. And so if artist A received from artist D or whatever sequence, that artist A cannot mint the work of artist D, and nor will I. So the catalog is sort of the heart of the documentation of this work. It's, like I say, the residue. And on that, I do want to name one person, my dear friend Pixelare, the artist known as Pixelare, who many of us know as Dario, who's an Italian artist in his own right, but also an amazing designer with whom I've worked in the past. Dario is, as I speak, working on the catalog. So hopefully, we will be able to tell a really strong story in that document. I don't want to rule out maybe other pieces. Maybe there can be a puzzle of sorts or a collage of sorts or something interesting that doesn't find its way in the catalog or that is so important that, we want a standalone piece. So that's, I won't rule that out, but I really want to be clear that for me, the art is already happening. The art is underway. And the catalog is a photograph. It's a way of capturing this story. But the art, and that's the beauty of it for me. And this is a little Dada, a little punk rock, very Fluxus. The art is not for sale. It's happening in the post and it's happening on the Tezos blockchain, but we are not flogging JPEGs here. This is really something different. And that's a very dear, dear story to my heart. And of course, we're not doing this in a vacuum. So there will be ways of sharing in the catalog, of course, and through writing and storytelling of various sorts. And the more, and as like just thinking out loud, I'm already thinking of different avenues that we might explore. So this is a very useful question. But this is also a little bit different. We're going against the grain. I hope that
I
answers your
love,
question.
yes, I love that. And I love that you take off the pressure of like, this is not about selling. It's not like what this space sometimes is too much of, right? Too much focus
Yes.
on the selling part. But yeah, I was thinking more also about like,
Okay, maybe that's
because
good
it's very
enough
intimate, the whole
for
project, and it's like
now.
the artists, they have this like the biggest
Man, I've been playing like half an hour straight. Thought I maybe I'd be able to do an hour, but it's a bit ambitious. I'm gonna restart the stream just so I can edit. Who was speaking? That was
I want to hold that lightly in this moment because I don't want to rule anything out. What I do know is that the art belongs to the recipient. And so if artist A received,
well, just tag them all.
What we could do, so basically
Oh no.